I see a lot of people saying that, yeah, bro, they're feeding Ian Garry to Shavkat Rakhmonov. This is like an easy fight for Shavkat Rakhmonov. But is that even true, though? Like, we saw Shavkat Rakhmonov win against Geoff Neal, and during that fight, we saw a lot of flaws in Shavkat Rakhmonov game. And the biggest flaw, in my opinion, like, is the fact that Shavkat Rakhmonov, he fights like a standing, like, toy, bro. He literally does not move his head. Like, he's like Alex Pereira if Alex Pereira didn't dodge. You know what I'm saying? Like, the guy is like allergic to dodging. He literally tanks all the strike with his block, insanely big ass head, and goes forward. That could be a good thing for him, because if you can take every single shot that Geoff Neal is throwing at your face at full power, that means you have an insane chin and you can absorb a lot of damage. But that could also be a bad thing, because even though Ian Garry, he kind of got exposed by Michael Venom Page on the feed and had to be a wrestler during their fights, Ian Garry's still a pretty good fighter. The guy is really good. You're not undefeated and like in a title shot contention if you're not a good fighter. The guy is actually really good. The thing about Ian Garry that I think he has a little bit of edge on Rakhmonov is the fact that he's not afraid of mixing up the game. The guy is not afraid of going there and change his strategy, or if something goes wrong, he changes the direction of the fight by changing his styles. He did this against Michael Venom Page. He did this against Geoff Neal when he started to get a little bit of pressure onto him. And also, even though it was a kind of a close decision between him and Geoff Neal, I think the way that Ian Garry fights kind of antagonic as the way that Shavkat Rakhmonov fights. Like, Shavkat Rakhmonov fights full action, like every single time going forward, like throwing punches, receiving punches to the head. And Ian Garry fights more like a safe style of way. I think when those two types of styles they clash, because Geoff Neal is a aggressive guy, so if the guy who is safer, he can outpoint the guy and like go around and bring it to a decision. Because let's not forget, like, Shavkat Rakhmonov almost got into a decision with Geoff Neal. He finished him in like the last minute of the last round. So if a guy like Ian Garry, he can just scrape by on the striking and just strike enough on the outside, he can literally win this fight. I can see him winning this fight. I don't think he's gonna win, because I think the Shavkat Rakhmonov, he has more of that dog in him, you know what I'm saying? I think he wants more. I don't think Ian Garry, he does not have the quote-unquote dog in him, but I think Shavkat, the way that Shavkat fights, he shows that he will do anything to win. The guy literally will do anything to win. The finish that he got against Geoff Neal, even though it was a sick finish, I think he shows that he's not afraid of testing anything out to get the win. So I think the biggest decisive factor here is if Shavkat Rakhmonov is gonna be, his pressure is gonna be too much for Ian Garry, and if Ian Garry starts to lose on the feet, if Shavkat Rakhmonov is gonna be able to turn the tides around and win the grappling exchanges, because it's actually really hard to say who has the better grappling, but Shavkat literally finished Wonderboy, and I think that's a really underrated accomplishment, because you can grind Wonderboy down, you can literally stall for 5 rounds like Gilbert did to him, like Tyron Woodley did to him, but to actually finish Wonderboy, like, the guy is almost unfinishable. It's a big ass accomplishment, and I think it's an underrated accomplishment. So I think that if Ian Garry cannot enforce his point style precision into Shavkat Rakhmonov, and his gameplay starts to go south, and he tries to grapple, and Shavkat actually neutralizes his grappling, yeah, I don't think there is any way for Ian Garry to win this fight. But if he can actually impose his striking, and he can actually defend the takedown of Shavkat Rakhmonov, I think he can cruise to a pretty, like, good win. I don't think comfortable, because Shavkat is gonna bring the savageness to the fight. But I think that this fight is way more competitive than people are thinking. It all depends on how much both of those guys are gonna want to win, you know what I'm saying? Because they both have, like, pretty blatant weaknesses. And I think the decisive factor would be, okay, Shavkat is getting a little bit pissed up in the feed, he's getting hit a lot, okay, I'm gonna turn it up, and I'm not gonna give a fuck about how many times I'm gonna get hit in the head. I'm gonna go straight forward, get hit, and I'm gonna try to finish him, because we saw Ian Garry get dropped when he was close to his debut. And Ian Garry is more like, okay, this guy is beating the living shit out of me, he's going forward, I can't stop him, but I'm gonna try to mix it up more. I'm gonna try to actually trade with him in the pocket. I'm not gonna be afraid of it. I think, to be honest, as much as this sounds kind of corny, I think this fight will be decided like who has the bigger dog in him, okay? Who has the biggest grit to win, because their skill set is actually pretty similar if you really look at it. Like, I cannot say who's the better, like, striker between both of them. I think Ian Garry is a little bit more polished in the striking, but they fight in different styles, if you guys know what I'm saying. Like, Shavkat has 18 fights and he finished for a reason. I think that's a way closer fight than people are saying that it is, and I don't actually know who's gonna win. I think Shavkat is gonna edge it, as I said, because I think he has the bigger dog in him, but I don't think that's a decisive pick, to be honest. If I had to pick it, I'd probably pick Shavkat, but that's not a fight that I would put my money on, if you guys know what I'm saying. It could be like a really, like, Shavkat made it look easy. A really dominant style performance by Ian Garry. It could be like anywhere in between of those, you know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily see Ian Garry finishing Shavkat Rakhmonov, but like when I also say that, I remember Shavkat Rakhmonov getting his ass completely knocked bait, but like he got hit by so many shots by Geoff Neal. So I can also see like a misstep by Rakhmonov getting caught during this misstep that he does, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's a really close fight. I would not put my money on it, but what do you guys think? Like and subscribe, see you later.